Hello, hello, hello. Hi. So I said to myself, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything, but I am going to say something. So before I get started, remember what my husband always tells me, to let you know about what I'm doing. I've posted some stuff about Africa to the diaspora. Hey, Bryn, and I'm excited about that. I hope you go to drdoula.com and check it out. But, okay, so today, I said I wasn't going to say anything. I said I'm not going to say anything about the irony of what I hear. Heard it from the President of the United States, heard it from his son, but also heard it from mothers. And there's this angst that I see now with a lot of moms, and most of the time, hey Maureen, most of the time, hey Valerie, I'll be honest, I hear a lot of white women talking about the fear, hey Lisa Pooh, that they have for their sons. And I said, I'm not going to say anything. But some of the words were the exact words. Something that the president said was that he feared for boys that would be blamed for something that they hadn't done. I've heard people talk about how oh my God, a spider, don't come in my house. Stay in the window. Finish the live, Drea. It's a big spider. Okay. Babe, it's a spider in here. Can you come get it? Yeah. Please? It's trying to come in.
Where's it at?
Right there. In my window. I thought I got rid of it. You see it? It's trying to climb up through the window. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's already...
Okay, no. Put the window down and then you could get it, right? Yeah. Okay. Kill it. Oh. Okay. I'm going to focus. You missed it. Oh, my God.
That's
okay, now he's out. Leave him out. Leave him.
He's not out.
He is. He's outside. Leave him outside. Okay, I'm focused. Here I am. Lock the window. Don't let him in. Thank you, babe. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay, he saved me. My husband saved me. Okay, focus. It was a big spider. Lisa said, no, let it get you. Jean to the rescue. Babe, you got a fan club over here. They're like, Jean to the rescue. Okay, all right, focus. So here I am, and I'm listening to the comments that are made. And I know genuinely... Okay, because I'm back. I'm talking about Mom's 9. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Jean. I know the genuine fear that a mom can feel for their children. And I wrote some things down. There was one mom, and I watched her son grow up, and he's I haven't seen him in a minute, but he's like 14 now, and she was saying that she had so much fear. Hey, Russell. And she described her son in the same way that I know many people would describe their son. She talked about him being sweet and tenderhearted, and that he was a young man who was friendly and outgoing, and how she would never want anything that he did to be mistaken in the wrong way. And I felt that. I continue to feel that, like, I know what that feels like. I've watched on television shows, I've watched people say, our sons. And all I kept thinking was, I know. And I don't really know how to describe exactly what I am feeling. But I have to be honest. There's a part of me that says, where is everybody? And I know this doesn't apply to everyone, but where's everyone when Black women are screaming about our sons? All I have is boys. And I say, where is everybody when we say our sons? My oldest son, and this is the reason I said, if I see him continually post about this, then I'm going to say something. Hey, Astrid. Hey, Soror. And that's why I'm saying something. My hope is that there's a place of empathy for those that haven't been able to find it, that those that are so concerned about what this situation means for boys. I'm just going to be as candid as I can. It's always been a situation. Babe, yeah. You got like 2 seconds?
You can't get nothing done?
No, he didn't. I just want you to say something real quick. Just real quick. There's a cutie pie. Tell me what you said. Tell me what you said. Hey, Rachel, tell me what you said when you were taught, when I was saying, with the whole boys will be boys, when people say boys will be boys, and you said, I never thought that I could. You don't remember. I'm putting you on the spot.
That's okay.
Well, I'll start talking and then he'll finish.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about, the different comments
I never
people
thought that I would do something or
that it was okay, or
Yeah.
that he would ever. Well, say it real quick.
Well, I guess I had to find out the example you were talking about. But
I'm sorry.
we never thought it was okay to do certain things. It was just you wouldn't want it to get back to your parents
Or anybody
or
else.
anybody
Right.
else,
It's like
up or down or wherever, that you disrespected somebody in the wrong way or did something that wasn't right.
was it part of the conversation that you would have, like, about in the same sense, you have to have conversations, because that's what I'm going to talk about in a minute, conversations that people have to have with you. How did you know that wasn't acceptable? How did you know, I know you had to learn about how to interact with police officers, and you had to learn how to carry yourself in the streets. You had to learn
Conversations with your parents.
So that was part of the conversation with the parents.
Totally.
That,
You don't want it to get back to me that you're out there doing what you're not supposed to be doing, as well as, understanding them talking with you about how to carry yourself, out in the street when you're alone, or,
or what about how something that you do could be interpreted by somebody else? Like, if it had to do with girls or something like that. Was there ever any conversation about anything like that? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth if it's not.
But yeah. I mean, you want to make sure that you're carrying yourself in a certain way, because if you were caught out in, a situation, you would be looked at different than other people because of
what?
Whether being a black male.
But so that was something that you understood?
Yes, very much so.
You understood that you might not have the leniency of somebody else.
Well, not starting out earlier on as a young man, maybe 10 or 11, but as you start to get to teenage years, it was explained to you that you may not get a pass like someone else.
I'm going to be honest with you. There's one of the things that I appreciate about my husband is that I've been to birth kinds of conferences and workshops and places where the consistent thing that I've heard about my husband, like if he's in that space, there might be mothers that were women that were just being vulnerable and being open and honest. And he is, one consistent thing that I've heard is, that people felt safe around him. I have friends that talk about how they feel safe around him and things like that. And I just want to honor you for being that kind of man.
Thank you.
I know that you make choices every single day about what kind of person you're going to be. So I just wanted you to say something, and thank you for that. I know you got to go teach your class.
Thank you for calling me. I always like sharing and being in your space.
I like
Bryn.
you.
Hey, Bryn. So yeah, no, we were,
Bryn was there. Yeah, Bryn has been there.
Yeah, we've been in conversations though, especially, coming up in Chicago, coming up, in the, being in the streets, not hanging out in the streets, but, if you're, out there with your friends, or I had a paper route at one time.
Yep.
And on that particular paper route, I was in a predominantly white neighborhood, and on Sundays you deliver the paper late, so that means families were up. And I actually got chased by some white boys in the neighborhood. And so, after the whole incident, you sit down and you talk with your parents, and that's when you start, understanding, in real time, in real life, the facts of life, of, the situation that you have here, not only in this city, but in this country. If not, now that we're understanding it, it's a world perspective of people of color and how you should hold yourself, and, walk with dignity and pride.
Did you ever say or report those boys or anything like that?
Yeah, we did report it to the police. So okay. I don't think anything was done because, of the neighborhood and where it was at, but you knew that, when you were in particular situations, you had to hold yourself a certain way, because you didn't want to get caught in a situation where you were with authorities or when he, you know.
Well, I love you. I want to read what Bryn said. She said, I was anxious at our doula class when I saw a man, but he was so nice. That's Bryn.
Hey, Bryn. I know Bryn. Those pretty baby shows.
I know. So thank you. I love you.
Love you too.
Thanks. Bye. For me, the thing that comes through for me that I just want to make sure that I get across is, people, I've just sensed a lot of emotion. I've sensed a lot of everything from what people feel about what's going on. I just want to remind everybody that the mothers that are feeling it now and with the newness are not the first mothers to scream and yell and say, hey, our kids are, in danger. And I really just want to emphasize that point. Hey, Rachel. Hey, Shelley. When we start thinking, for example, about things of the past being held against someone in the future, I've heard things, ruining so-and-so's good name, ruining someone's good name, and things like that. Everybody doesn't get an opportunity to make a mistake and then recover from it. There are specifically, and in my case, based on what I talk to my kids about often, there are, Black males, and everybody hears it said all the time, disproportionately represented in the criminal justice system for little mistakes. Over the past 3 or 4 years, we would see cases where there were violations to women, where the judges would specifically say, we don't want this to ruin their future because they made a mistake after violating someone. I'm not saying this whether it is for or against in the situation that is now. But what I am saying is just remember that, when something swings to your house, then sometimes it becomes more, it's easier to be more, to feel it more, to say, to cry out more. But there are mothers that have been concerned about false accusations, specifically Black men. There are Black mothers that say, do not mess specifically with that white girl because history, whether it's Emmett Till, what happened with him and a false accusation that the woman confessed to at 82 years old, said he didn't really do anything to deserve to die or to deserve anything. I don't even know if he whistled. I don't know what he did. I don't think he did anything. When Black women have had to deal with this, and I'm saying this because specifically I watched my son, and my son has been on Facebook, and he'll make posts, and some of the posts are one of them I really loved from yesterday. He talked about how he said people say people don't change. Hey, Diana. Hey, Shelley. People don't change. People don't change. And he said, but that goes against everything, just the arguments that are being made. He said that goes against everything I was taught in church, where one of the worst people ever that was a persecutor of Christians, Paul, was converted and he changed. So it's just like all of these arguments. I'm watching what my son is saying. He's like, just remember that, there are people who have feared for their children already. Hey, Joy, just remember that in all of your decisions and how you are choosing to look at the world and everything else. I'm going to say this. If your feelings, if you can't empathize with me, I've been telling my children, I told that boy, I tell them, the ones that are away especially, at least 3 or 4 times a year, I remind them, I know you are grown. I know you're in college. You do not need to be alone with a girl. I know you're this. I know you're that. I know, you do not need to be the one to rescue her if she's inebriated. You do not need to be the one. You need to go find her friends. If something is going on, you need to do this. You need to be careful. And they're like, Mom, we got friends. We're just hanging out. I said, I hear you. I know you live in your world. I'm just telling you, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. Be careful about what you do. This is not a new conversation for some mothers. And for some parents, it's not a new conversation. And I just wanted to really say that. This is not a new conversation. And if you can't if what you feel doesn't stretch over to someone like me, the mother of 4 black sons, then I question. Hey, Yvonne, I question what you're feeling. I question it. We've seen all of I've seen all the posts that talked about if there was anyone that would yell out. I watch my words all the time because I can't just be angry without being an angry black woman. You know, there is a double standard for some of this. There is a double standard. And the fact that there's a double standard and a triple standard and everything else, women are hysterical if they do some of the things that have been done. You know, just understand if this doesn't allow you to see more clearly the world that we're in, if it doesn't allow you to see, if you can, when I heard people that said, well, he says, no, he wouldn't lie. Why not? People lie all the time. And there's a presumption of lying by some people. Come on, just allow it to go deeper. Just allow what you're feeling to go deeper. That's all I'm saying. And the next time that you hear or see a mother crying because of something that happened to her son, instead of saying, well, what did he do? You know, or especially, I love this one, the evidence. You know, people talk about all the time, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? There's no evidence. My son did a post and I was like, he keeps acknowledging it. I'm going to acknowledge him and what he's processing. There's evidence sometimes that an officer or something happens and it wasn't provoked. My son is trying to figure out, how is this not legitimate if you have video that says that the person didn't have a gun, didn't do this or didn't do that? How are these people still being excused for things? Hey, Diana. Hey, Cecile. Just remember, there are mothers that have been crying for centuries about their children and the things that could possibly go wrong. So if you're going to say the evidence that is needed, say the evidence is needed the next time that someone talks about a black man being shot or a black woman being shot or something like that. Ask for the evidence and allow that evidence, the thing that's being cried for now. Where is the evidence? Ask for that evidence. If you can ask for evidence now, ask for evidence when it is available and when people are trying to show it. Don't make excuses for it. Because if your empathy can't go beyond your family and your children and your particular sons and your situation, to me, if you can't feel what I feel every day, then I would question whether that was empathy or whether that was more of an effort to safeguard a certain thing. If you can't feel the other mothers crying, if you can't empathize with the other mothers that are crying, hey, Dee Dee, hey, Naomi, if you can't empathize when you hear the other mothers crying, but you fear now for your children, for your sons, and you say, I don't want them to be misjudged. If you can't empathize when I cry for my sons, that is not true empathy. If you can ask for evidence when it's someone else, when it's in this situation, but you're not asking for evidence and letting the evidence guide you, and you say, well, what did he do wrong? It's not. It's not based in love. It's not based in anything. That's just kind of what I wanted to say. I don't know what it is, what I have seen that I almost hold on to is that it's fear, not only of what could happen to sons, but at the core of that, it's a fear of losing something that perhaps you never really believed you had. And some have identified that as privilege. There are mothers and fathers that have always had to talk to their sons that never believed that they would get a swat on the hand ever. And all I'll say is, if you can't hear my cry And if you can't hear the cry of other mothers, if you can't, just question yourself. Yeah, that's all. I don't know if anybody has, I don't know if anybody has anything to say. I just wanted to say that. And I'm mainly saying it just because my son keeps posting about it. And I want him to know that I see him. I see his questions. I see what he's saying, and it makes sense. He knows that we have taught him forever about how he has to be a certain way, as to not be presumed. But people that have never had to be presumed as anything don't always know what they're feeling when they lose that privilege of not being presumed. And that is really what is laid before us. Will people look at everything and say, as some have said, no matter what, that was 30 whatever years ago? If I could go to a prison and ask how many men, how many of you did something when you were 17 and are still locked up 20 years from now because you sold weed, which is now legal in many places? Come on, guys. If you can't feel when I scream for my sons, if you can't feel me, if you can't feel that, then thank you, Dee Dee. All right, that is it. It's just a little message to say you're not by yourselves. And please know the difference. Just know that, Dee Dee, just know the difference. Everybody, some people have been talking to their sons for a long time. My friend was hurt because she felt like she had to take some of her son's innocence away by saying these things and telling him to be careful. And I'm saying, generally speaking, those who have not found that place, find that place. And the next time you see a mother crying, just empathize. And maybe if you can't bring it upon yourself to say something encouraging, just try to imagine if it was your son that was presumed, whatever. Yes. I love you, girl. You talking right. Well, thank you, Dee Dee. That means a lot coming from you. I love you guys. I just wanted to say that. Tulani, I hear you, my child, my firstborn son. I see you. I hear you. I watch what you write. I know you're a thoughtful young man. And every question that you raise and every discrepancy that you see is valid. So this is for you. Bye. I love you, Dee Dee. She is cute. Thank you, Dee Dee.